South Africa be expecting from tomorrow's game in the line of Shakes Mashaba and the project for 2020?
Well, I think what South Africa would be expecting is to first of all put on a good performance. I mean, last time when we met you guys in Chan, we went in believing that we were going to win, and that is not how it turned out. I think more so than any result, South Africans want to see their team developing and growing. You know, we want to see us playing good football. We want to see our guys be able to stand up against you. And I've been fortunate enough to be able to watch the entire Bafana Bafana lifetime. You know, it's only 22 years old. I'm 40 this year. I was 18 when we played our first game against Cameroon. And when we entered the international field, Nigeria were kings of Africa. It was an amazing time. Actually, Stephen Keshi's generation of players. That was an amazing team. And it's kind of how I've always judged how we're doing, is how we play against Nigeria. So tomorrow is no different. You know, how do we play against the Super Eagles? If we put on a competitive performance and we don't look like we're out of our depth, that's a positive for me.
So stick out your neck, Rob, and give us a scoreline.
Well, I will never bet against my country. I do see it it's either going to be a draw or a single goal victory for one of the teams. If it's going to be very interesting to me, that the match is a lot is going to be decided in the first half an hour. If South Africa strike early and actually do something against the Super Eagles, I think the confidence might worry your boys a bit. But then again, the exact same could happen if Nigeria score early, because there's no doubt you have some wonderfully talented players in your squad and playing at clubs that many of our young guys would dream of playing at.
Well, thank you so much, Rob, for speaking to us on Sports Tonight. Rob Delport, of course, based in Cape Town. We'll be seeing the game tomorrow, and hopefully we should try to link up with him at the end of that game for his review of whatever would have happened at the Cape Town Stadium. Well, gentlemen, let me come to you very quickly. We've listened to Rob, and he's given us his own impression, opinion about tomorrow's game. You are not so optimistic, Tunde. You are not so optimistic based on what we did against Congo, that we are going to be good enough to get something out of tomorrow's game.
Well, my sentiments are based very plainly on the fact that it is we played very poorly against Congo. We've also showed that we cannot hold a lead and kill off a game. We've also shown that we can be lethargic in our build-up, that we are a bit too one-dimensional. We've also shown that we do not know exactly how to go about breaking stubborn opposition. But on the flip side, what Rob didn't mention, because I spoke to him earlier today, he said there is a given in South Africa that a wounded Super Eagles are probably the most dangerous Super Eagles to face. And I tend to agree. This team has shown that, especially when people wrote them off under Stephen Keshi, that was when they rose highest in the face of adversity. So there's nothing stopping them from probably going to Cape Town and probably bring their stadium crumbling down with a 4-0 victory. We've seen it happen before. So I wouldn't bet against the Super Eagles tomorrow necessarily, but the signs I saw against Congo are ominous, and I hope that this has served to Stephen Keshi to whip his team up into the kind of fighting madness that we expect to see tomorrow, because nothing except a really first-class performance will do. I think that the Super Eagles are condemned to win tomorrow.
Yemi, let's talk about the details of the game now, and I'm sure it's going to come on your screen because a lot of people are asking questions on Twitter. Tell us about the game, the 2015 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier between South Africa and Nigeria. Tell us about it, and that's the details that is showing on your screen. Yemi, I'm sure you can take us through.
Yeah, well, South Africa will be taking on Nigeria, and of course the venue is Cape Town Stadium in Cape Town. Date, that's Wednesday, September 10th, that's tomorrow. And of course, kickoff 7 p.m. Nigerian time, hopefully.
And that means about this time tomorrow the game is over.
Yes, and we'll be reacting to the game. And I hope we'll come here with smiles.
On our faces.
Yes, if we win. But really, Tunde can call me a reckless optimist, but I don't really see South Africa beating us. I mean,
so what are you seeing?
They say you didn't see Congo beating us.
A gloomy picture.
What are you seeing? What's your scoreline? Rob says is expecting maybe a draw or a slim 1-0 win. What are you seeing tomorrow, Yemi?
Let me tell you what I'm not seeing. What I'm not seeing.
Nigeria losing.
Yes,
that's what I'm not seeing. Losing. So it could be a draw, it could be a win for Nigeria.
Yeah.
Tunde, what are you seeing?
Well, I don't see anything. I don't see anything. But I'm just hoping. I'm hoping that the Super Eagles will put aside everything that has happened and show the true stuff of champions. It's a cliche in Nigeria that getting to the top is not the problem. Staying there and proving the fact that you're the champions state. So I just hope a 1-0 victory will be good enough for me.
Okay, I think I'm also saying a win for Nigeria. That's the only thing I see, a win for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Bouncing back from that embarrassing defeat to Congo and getting back to winning ways. That's all I see. I'm not seeing anything different from a win for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. I hope that by this time tomorrow, we will be celebrating that win over Bafana Bafana of South Africa. But gentlemen, that's not the only game lined up for tomorrow. Yeah. A whole lot of games are also going to be played across the African continent tomorrow in the 2015 Nations Cup qualifiers. Let me just run through for you very quickly. Don't forget, we are playing out of Group A, and we are away to South Africa. We've talked about it extensively. Congo, conquerors of Nigeria, will be home to Sudan, and we can begin to do our permutations now, praying for Congo, for Sudan, to get something from that game. It's not too early to start praying. Sudan, go get something from Congo. If it's a draw,
a job in Calabar, you wouldn't be in this
No,
position.
but I mean, whatever way, my enemy's enemy is
my friend.
Okay. And Group B, we have Malawi against Ethiopia. Ethiopia lost at home to Algeria. And then we have Algeria hosting Mali.
Mali won 2-1 at home to Malawi.
To Malawi. And of course, that game handled by Nigerian referees over the weekend was moved from Saturday to Sunday because of heavy downpour. Mali winning eventually by 2-1. And Group C, Angola will be taking on Burkina Faso, losing finalists in the last edition.
We've also started on a good note.
On a good note, yeah. And of course, we have Lesotho will be hosting Gabon. Gabon also got off to a good win over Angola in their first game of the qualifiers. Cameroon, and this is the biggest game of the midweek.
Yep.
Cameroon against Cote d'Ivoire. Massive encounter in Cameroon. Cameroon went to Congo DR, got a 2-0 win. Cote d'Ivoire struggled to a 2-1 win over Sierra Leone. And so Group D, we'll see Cameroon hosting Cote d'Ivoire in the top of the table clash, and then Sierra Leone will be confronting Congo Democratic Republic. Group E, Togo against Ghana, Uganda against Guinea. Massive game for Ghana, and we're told that there's already plenty of pressure on coach Kwesi Appiah. You don't win this game, forget about keeping your job as the coach of the Black Stars. So it's a massive encounter.
Togo have always been tricky customers.
Very tricky customers.
For the Black Stars.
And of course, Uganda will be hosting Guinea. Group F, Cape Verde against Zambia. And then Mozambique will be confronting Niger. Cape Verde went away from home and beat Niger soundly.
They're leading in the group, actually.
Yeah, and Zambia drew at home to Mozambique. So everything looks poised for Cape Verde to maybe extend the lead in that group. And then the final group, we see Botswana against Senegal. Senegal beat Egypt 2-0 in their first game. And then Tunisia that beat Botswana, eking out a win with the last kick of the game via a penalty, will be taken on
that's another massive encounter.
Egypt in Egypt. Massive North African derby.
Of Egypt's recovery. We're going to see if losing to Senegal was probably a fluke or something.
Yeah. So those are the fixtures for the 2015 Africa Cup of Nations games to be played across the African continent tomorrow. All right, let's move away from the Nations Cup and talk about a special kind of Nations Cup, this one for the women. It's the African Women Championship. Nigeria has won this but 2 editions. We've won every edition but 2. And we will be going to Namibia to try to win back the trophy because we lost it to Equatorial Guinea in the last edition. So we'll be going back to Namibia to try to win back the trophy. But the story is that the NFF have called up Beautiful Bride.
Under 20,
MVP.
MVP and
top
scorer. Azizat Oshoala, she's been called up to the Falcons.
And the veteran.
And veteran Perpetual Kocha and 28 other players who will report to the Falcons camp. Oshoala's name is particularly interesting because of the outstanding performance she put up at the World Cup. And, it brings into question a lot of things people say about how when players are good enough, they're definitely old enough for the national team. The kind of calls that people make for Kelechi Iheanacho, but that was an under 17 player. At under 20, 21 level, you are almost an intermediate. So that is exactly the thinking of the national team selectors. We're calling up Oshoala for the national. I'm hoping she makes the team. I think she brings something new, something vibrant.
And of course, the veteran, Perpetual Kocha, is back there. So Shola has a lot of
she can only learn from the best.
A big fight on her hands if she's going to have a starting place in a team, which I doubt. But I think it's going to be good for her. If you rub shoulders with the best at a very early age, it's going to impact on your game. And I think that's going to be very good.
Before we close this segment, let me just read a few comments on Twitter. Very quickly, we'll come back to talk about one more issue.